You're listening to Brandon Sports Talk, interviewing professional athletes and Paralympians and Olympians. And now for your professional athlete interview and your host, Brandon P.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the Canada Paralympian wheelchair rugby player, Michael Whitehead. How are you doing today?
Good, I'm good. Got a little training session in this morning, so it's always a good way to start my day.
That's good. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get started into competing in wheelchair rugby?
Yeah, I was injured in a car accident in 1999, and then early 2000 in February, the local team encouraged me to come out to practice. So I started playing wheelchair rugby and practicing while I was in spinal cord rehab hospital. A former teammate and a coach of ours, David Wilsey, picked me up and brought me to my first practice.
What was it like being a multi athlete competing in volleyball, basketball, and wheelchair rugby?
Yeah, so the volleyball, basketball, and hockey were all sports I really enjoyed competing in before my spinal cord injury. And so a lot of those skills translated quickly over to the hard court and the wheelchair rugby as far as vision, anticipation, and playing aggressive style sports.
How was it like getting involved into wheelchair rugby and getting to compete in wheelchair rugby?
It's there's nothing that compares really, the community, the travel, the representing your country, it's there's nothing that compares. It's pretty special, and I still get the chills.
What was that moment like when you made the Team Canada team for the first time competing in wheelchair rugby?
Yeah, it was May 2001. I think the third week of May. It was a tryouts ended on a Sunday, got on a flight, came back to Toronto, and I was driving down the 401 and it sunk in and it actually brought tears to my eyes. I still remember the moment, heading towards London, Ontario from Toronto, driving. It sunk in and it's a special moment, that feeling of I did it.
Of course, what was that experience like getting to go to Athens for the first time in your Paralympic career?
Athens was a special one. Just because it was so new. It was the first experience. It was Paralympics. There was, I think, 4,600 athletes, amazing open ceremonies. We had a really strong team, a great performance as a team. We just came together, which is the usual for us. And just to be a part of the crew, and then put a performance together that led to silver. We did it. And just, yeah, the memories of hanging out and playing cards and meeting athletes from other sports that were also in our dorms in our apartments, the athletes village, all of it. I actually bought a little Swatch watch in '04 in Athens, and I still have it to this day. It's pretty special to me.
Being your first Paralympics in Athens, what was that experience like getting to bring home silver?
I just remember a few things, and one of the things that I cherish is the meal we had after. We won silver, which also means you lost the last game, but it was a little bit of a heartbreaker. We were up on New Zealand. They came back on us and earned it. And then I just remember like we were trying to organize getting transportation to a restaurant so all the families and everybody could meet. And everything got super disorganized and nothing mattered. We could have been eating, scraps off the side of the highway or something. It didn't matter. We just were all on top of this cloud. And so we went to have an all people meal by the ocean. we had a wonderful night, and it was just so special. It was such a great time.
Of course, after Athens, what was that like preparing for your next Paralympics to go to Beijing?
Yeah, I remember there was some things that I felt my game really needed. At that point, I was disappointed with a few things about my play post '04. I thought I was prepared, but it was 3 years into my professional career, 4 years into the injury, so I was still getting I thought I knew it all, but it was far from it. So preparing for the next games, I started to look at things differently, specifically my training.
Of course, with having two Paralympics behind your belt, what was that preparation like going to London?
Yes, so London was pretty special. We had some young children that were attending. So, my kids and wife at the time were able to attend, which was really, really cool. So that made it very special. And we had a great team and a young team and an old team. And London was a big, big to do. They really, amplified the Paralympic movement at that point, which was really great. Um, so that was a special, special one as well.
How was that experience like getting to share in that moment with your kids in London?
I just remember them in the stands, and they had big heads of us, and just seeing my kids hold a giant cardboard cutout of my head was kind of just fun, and watching them smile, have fun, and enjoy all the company and the games and the smiles and the pictures after the games, and really special memories.
During your Paralympic time, what was that feeling like the first time you got to put on that Paralympic gear versus your last time putting it on?
Nice. Yeah, the first time the gear, it's just so memorable. It's like this feeling of Christmas morning, but you got a gift from the country of Canada, and you start opening all this gear and you wear it, and it's just so special. And thankfully, I haven't had a last experience. I'm heading hopefully into Paris for my sixth Paralympics. So if all things go well, I just made the team again for another year last month. So we have the Pan Am Games coming up this fall, and then we'll see what happens next year. So maybe it's not my last yet. So we'll hold that for the next interview, I guess.
Of course, during that time from Rio in 2016, what were some of the things that you did to work on to make the next Paralympics?
So yeah, post 2016 in Rio, um, it was just more picking up on my body composition, getting stronger and lighter, and then also picking up on, I'm still becoming a wheelchair rugby player. There's so many details within the game that video analysis and competition can bring out. So it's just working on those fine details, and then also always hammering home the fundamentals. So there's always work to do in the sport to prepare for the next games.
Being a professional athlete and getting to represent a country like Canada and getting to travel around the world, how has that been like getting to travel around the world to different countries like London?
It's so special, you spend time in the airport, or you're wearing the gear in the airport, or it's just it's a nice feeling. It's a very prideful, humbling, memorable experience that after I did my first one, I knew this is what I wanted to do with my life um, for as a professional career. So that feeling just is still shines, anytime I put on the maple leaf, it's just a privilege. It's such a great country.
What was that feeling like getting to put around the silver medals around your neck?
They feel a lot heavier the next day. The next morning you pick them up and you're like, man, that's heavier than I realized. Because when it goes on, it's like a feather. It's just wild. You grab it, you look at it, and you look at the smiles of your teammates and the staff. They don't get medals, and they're patting you on the back because, you know, we all do it together. So just that feeling of togetherness and achievement is it's just spectacular. It's really worth the hours of work.
For my listeners that don't know, how do you play wheelchair rugby?
Yeah, so wheelchair rugby is you kind of picture wheelchair basketball without the hoops, and you take the ball and you wheel over the end line for a try for 1 point. And you can play defense by stopping a chair, so you can hit each other's chairs to stop them from getting that one try. And then there's a lot of details within that, but that's the basics. It's get the ball in on the court and go to the other end. And on defense, when they get the ball in, you don't want them to get it in, and you don't want them to go to the other end of the court. And then all of it happens in between there.
What is that like, obviously, getting to compete against different countries like US, Great Britain, and even China?
Yeah, very memorable. All those teams, over all the years, it's you build rivalries, you build relationships, you have laughs, you have tears, you have all the emotions, you have big wins, big losses. Um, those teams are very great teams. China was kind of a team that came around. We haven't seen them in a while. Hopefully they come back soon, but love competing against all the international teams.
What was this last experience like, getting to go to the Paralympics in Tokyo?
Tokyo was spectacular. The village was gorgeous. Everything was just so ready for us to attend. Obviously, it was COVID games, so it had a different feel. But once you get between the lines, it's all focus and game, and it was quiet, but that was okay because we still had a job to do, and we had some really close games, and had our shots, and the other teams earned their medals, and we left without, and that's sport.
Of course, looking back on your career from this point forward, what has it been like, obviously, being a five-time Paralympian?
Oh, it's been a well worth it adventure in personal growth and growth within the community and growth within our organization. So it's 22 years on the national team. um I just love the locker room and hanging out with my friends.
What does it mean to you to be a Canada wheelchair rugby player?
It means a lot. It's a real privilege to represent Canada. It means a lot to me. It really does, and it has from even before I made the team. I knew some of the national team members, and um, I could see how they wore the pride, and now I get that feeling.
How's it been like to add PLY behind your last name and be known as a Paralympian?
It's quite an honor. It's quite an honor. It's very cool distinction, and I'm so thankful that that has happened for Paralympians and Olympians. It's earned.
What has that feeling been like to get to put on the Paralympic rings and know that all of your hard work has paid off?
It's again, it's kind of like that feeling, like the ring feels like a feather. It's just really special to have one of I have more than one, but it's just you know it's not easy to get there, and when you get something like that, it just makes it very memorable.
Of course, what has that been like to keep up that momentum and go to five Paralympics?
I enjoy and thrive off training, and I enjoy the grind. I was at the gym today, and I'll be back tomorrow. So I consider, I'm a gym rat, and I always have been. I fell in love with gymnasiums. I think they're museums, all of them, and that's my home. So it's normal for me. It's normal for me to be training and pushing myself and also enjoying the community. It's just basically a highly competitive recess.
What has that been like, obviously getting to live out your Paralympic dream, not just once, but 5 times?
I'm just really thankful for the people that have supported me, um, in the past, currently, and in the future. This has been something that I have not done individually. There's been a lot of support, family, friends, community, coaches, staff, sports science staff, Canadian Paralympic Committee, Own the Podium, Sport Canada, Wheelchair Rugby Canada. All of them have a big, big part in my success in my career.
Has it been like, obviously getting to meet your fans and having them ask for your autographs and photos with you?
I remember Athens. We had an athlete, Ian Chan, that he was the fave, and watching him spend lots of time sign autographs and all the adoring fans. It was really cool to see. And now Zach's that guy, and I've seen Trevor go through it, and myself. I've signed a couple autographs, and it's pretty special. I enjoy youngsters, so if a youngster's smiling, then I'm in a good spot.
What is that like, obviously getting to compete with some of your teammates like Miranda, Melvin, and even Chad?
Love spending time with them. All great athletes. You know, uh, so many great stories and memories. Training camps. So cool, so cool. What great people.
Who are some of the players that you look up to and inspire?
We on our team we have two wonderful captains, Pico Dejeuner and Trevor Hirschfield. These are two professionals, and I adore them for their game, for their leadership, for their commitment to their sport and their families, and their community, and what they bring to our team. Those are two guys that I definitely really look up to.
What has that been like, obviously balancing being a Paralympian and life outside of a Paralympic, being a father and stuff?
Yeah, the balance. It's teeter-tottered over the years, and it takes practice and work, internally and externally, to figure out that balance. So because to be a Paralympian, it can be very a selfish thing, right? You work really hard and train really hard and travel a lot, and it affects families. It really does. So for myself, it's been a journey, to find that balance.
What are some of your future plans in the sport of wheelchair rugby?
Just to be a part of the community as long as I can. Play recreationally, in different leagues would always be, I think, a goal of mine, and then help out where I can, if anybody needs any assistance, getting water or fixing a tire, or maybe even coaching a little bit. I enjoy doing a little bit of coaching.
Of course, are some of your future plans to attend the Paris Paralympics?
Yeah, so Paris 2024 is not too far away, and that's a goal of mine. Definitely a goal of mine. It would be an honor. It's going to be hard work to make that team.
What's that going to feel like, obviously, to get to go to Paris and compete in Paris?
I can't imagine, because I've already heard uh, some of the specifics into the preparation Paris has done for the Paralympics, and it really sounds like it's going to blow the roof off the Paralympic movement. So if I can be a part of that, that would be cool.
What advice would you give those future and current wheelchair rugby athletes looking to compete in wheelchair rugby?
Ah, Stick with the winners and find a mentor that is going to answer your questions and ask a lot of questions, and you'll get out what you put in.
What advice would you give those players that are looking to represent either Team USA or Canada in the Paralympics?
You're going to get out what you put in, and take care of your bodies, and rest is recovery.
What advice would you give those future Paralympians that are competing for the first time?
Oh my gosh. Take a journal, take lots of pictures, enjoy the moments, all the little moments, and try to make as many friends as you can, along the way.
What advice would you give those multiple time Paralympians and Olympians just like yourself?
The same. Enjoy the moments. Cherish them. Cherish the moments on and off the court. All the little moments.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media?
Ooh, that's a tricky one. Wheelchair Rugby Canada, Instagram and Facebook is probably where you're going to find me. But I'm not too active on social media. It's just not something that really has gotten my attention lately.
Thank you again, Michael Whitehead, for your interview, and best of luck in your future as a Team Canada Paralympian wheelchair rugby athlete.
Brandon, thank you so much. This has been a lot of fun, and holy smokes, that flew by. And Byron was right. You're a great guy.
Thank you. You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Michael Whitehead, for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
Thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.